Hello everyone, in this video, I will be recapping the chapter 105 of the manhwa called Logging 10,000 Years into Future. The championship day had finally arrived, and excitement filled the air as spectators made their way to the stadium. The anticipation for the fights to begin was palpable. Amidst the buzz, a cameraman from the broadcasting team hurried towards the stage, carrying his equipment on his shoulders. However, in his haste, he collided with a man named Sheng. Sheng, taken aback by the sudden encounter, closed his eyes momentarily and politely requested the cameraman to let him pass. As Sheng turned his head to address the situation, he found himself somewhat perplexed by the cameraman's presence. He looked at the cameraman with a smile and inquired if the broadcast was live from start to finish. The cameraman, balancing the camera with one hand and placing the other on his waist, confirmed that it was indeed a live broadcast. He explained that most of the equipment had already been set up, anticipating that the conference would officially commence shortly. Expressing regret over their late arrival, the cameraman mentioned the rumored impressive show from below the mountain, hinting at the missed opportunity. Turning his attention back to Sheng, the cameraman closed his eyes and with a smile shared his disappointment at only being able to capture a few photos. However, he remained optimistic, mentioning the typical duration of tournaments spanning 2 or 3 days, holding out hope for another opportunity to capture more moments. As the two conversed, their attention was drawn towards the tournament presenter, who commanded the audience's attention and urged everyone to calm down. Sheng and the cameraman turned towards the stage, where they were met with surprise. The presenter, despite his diminutive stature, exuded a powerful presence. Identifying himself as Elder Jiang He, the main organizer of the conference, the presenter introduced himself on behalf of Sir Tan Zhongyu, renowned as the Saint of Martial Arts. As the championship was about to begin, the audience erupted with excitement. They had been eagerly awaiting the start of the national championship, and the anticipation in the stadium was palpable. Jiang He, the announcer, sensed the energy in the crowd and officially declared the start of the National University Martial Arts Championship. To determine the participants for the group matches, Jiang He explained that the selection had been made through a random drawing of lots. He held up 4 tickets, symbolizing the chosen participants, and invited them to come forward one by one to draw their tickets in order. The first students to draw their tickets were Chao Qian and Chao Qing. As they held the tickets, a surge of powerful energy seemed to emanate from their bodies. With smiles on their faces, they fixed their gaze on Sheng, hinting at an underlying tension or rivalry. Next, it was the girl with blue hair's turn. As she held her ticket, her expression turned solemn, perhaps indicating a sense of melancholy or resignation. There may have been personal reasons or concerns weighing on her mind as she prepared for the competition. Following her, Lin Jibei stepped forward to draw his ticket. Unlike the others, he seemed to exude an aura of malevolence as he stared at his ticket, a sign of potential dark intentions or fierce determination to win at any cost. Finally, it was Sheng's turn. As he held the ticket in his hand, his attention was drawn to another student with orange hair. This student seemed troubled, placing a hand on his head and questioning why he had to face Wang Xian, a fellow student from their school. He explained his seniority and lineage within the school, expressing reluctance to compete against someone he once considered a peer. In response, the orange-haired student reassured his friend, urging him not to overthink the situation. He reminded him that despite their history with Long Martial School, their former peers were now their competitors. By holding up the jacket of their school uniform, he symbolically emphasized the shift in dynamics, suggesting that they should view each other as strangers in the context of the competition. Sheng, having drawn the number 135, contemplated the upcoming match as he examined his ticket. He wondered about his opponent for this round, his thoughts momentarily drifting away from the present moment. However, his reverie was interrupted by the approach of another student nearby who recognized him. The student, approaching from behind, called out to Sheng, confirming his identity. Startled, Sheng turned to face the student, curious about the sudden interaction. The student, with a relaxed demeanor, introduced himself as Lu Ming, a student from Dongning Martial Arts University. Despite sharing the same initial in their last names, Lu Ming humorously referred to Sheng as Brother L. Expressing his admiration for Sheng's reputation, Lu Ming complimented him, remarking on his impressive presence. Intrigued, Sheng followed Lu Ming's gaze and was surprised by what he saw. Lu Ming explained that the competition primarily consisted of students from various universities in the region. He also mentioned 2 younger students accompanying him, who had specifically come to greet Sheng. As the 2 students approached, Sheng greeted them warmly, reciprocating their gestures. One of them, a girl with blue hair, expressed her initial doubt about Lu Sheng's identity but now greeted him with enthusiasm. She explained her nervousness in his presence, acknowledging his formidable reputation. The other student, a young boy, trembled with excitement upon seeing Lu Sheng. He was in awe of Lu Sheng's achievements and couldn't believe he had reached such heights. The girl, overwhelmed by her emotions, placed her hand on her chest, trembling as she spoke of Lu Sheng's overwhelming power. The boy raised his head towards the sky, his hand shielding his eyes from the sun's glare. With a contemplative expression, he gazed at the vast expanse above, explaining to the girl beside him the unfamiliar sensation he experienced earlier that day. Despite his age, he admitted that it was the first time he felt surpassed by someone of the same age. Referring to Lu Sheng, he expressed a sense of admiration and resignation, acknowledging that he could only aspire to reach Lu Sheng's level without ever truly surpassing him. Two nearby students overheard the conversation, prompting the orange-haired student to interject. Recognizing the connection between the boy and Lu Sheng, as they were from the same generation, he remarked on their luck. Similarly, the black-haired student chimed in, advising the boy to nurture this relationship as it could prove beneficial in the future. He emphasized the potential long-term advantages of maintaining ties with someone like Lu Sheng. In response, the boy turned to the black-haired student, seeking guidance on how to cultivate a relationship with Lu Sheng. He expressed his perception of the vast gap separating them from Lu Sheng, likening it to an insurmountable abyss. The boy's words instilled a sense of dread in the black-haired student, highlighting the perceived distance between them and Lu Sheng. Shortly after, Zhang He addressed the crowd, announcing the cancellation of the draw numbers due to 3 competitors from the gym failing to show up. This meant that competitors, including Lu Sheng, would automatically advance to the next round. While the crowd reacted with amazement, Lu Sheng, with his hand propped under his chin, turned his attention to Zhang He, the organizer. He couldn't help but marvel at the unexpected turn of events, realizing he had advanced without having to compete. Seizing the opportunity to assess his peers, Lu Sheng decided to observe the ongoing fights on the stage. He approached the area where several students were engaged in combat, noting the strict rules governing the matches. Only photographers and referees were allowed to move freely within the designated area. Lu Sheng observed the bouts with keen interest, recognizing the skill displayed by one particular fighter, a girl cheering enthusiastically for her older brother. As Lu Sheng's body exuded a formidable energy, he fixated his gaze on the stage, a smile playing on his lips. In his mind, he reflected on the mindset of true strength, believing that failure was a concept non-existent in the dictionary of truly powerful individuals. Observing the ongoing matches, Lu Sheng contemplated the advantages held by disciples of the gym and the martial arts academy. Despite the potential age advantage of gym disciples, Lu Sheng recognized the diverse strengths of martial arts academy students, such as their superior training environments. His thoughts also drifted to the financial support provided to martial artists, realizing that age was less of a barrier for those with institutional backing compared to independent gym disciples. Lost in his musings, Lu Sheng was interrupted by Zhang He, who announced the conclusion of the first round. With a gesture towards the stage, Zhang He called out the numbers of the next contestants, including Lu Sheng and his opponent, Jiang Yuan. However, just before reaching the stage, Jiang Yuan, overwhelmed by fear, collapsed to his knees and declared his surrender to the referee, citing Lu Sheng as the reason. This unexpected turn puzzled both the referee and Lu Sheng, who couldn't comprehend why Jiang Yuan surrendered before the fight even began. Despite the confusion, Zhang He declared Lu Sheng the winner by default, advancing him to the next round. Meanwhile, Jiang Yuan trembled with fear, unable to comprehend the gravity of his actions. Recalling Bai Hengchuan's near defeat at Lu Sheng's hands, Jiang Yuan feared for his life and chose surrender over potential injury. Feeling disheartened by the anticlimactic victory, Lu Sheng left the stage with clenched fists and a heavy heart. He couldn't shake off the frustration of not being able to engage in a proper match. As he walked past his peers, their shock at his subdued demeanor was palpable, unable to understand why Lu Sheng felt down despite winning a match where his opponent had surrendered. Among the onlookers, Lian Jibei's intense gaze lingered on Lu Sheng, his body pulsating with energy as he cracked his fingers with a knowing smile. His curiosity piqued, Lian Jibei wondered if he was the one tasked with the mission.